People nowadays that call it that dog in you. You know, you got that dog in you, then use it. I knew I wanted to be my own businessman. I wanted to be somebody that somebody would look up to and have the means to be able to help as many people out as I possibly can. What really helped me is having the right people around me. You know, I do have choice to not work. You know, I'm only working that because I do want to grow this business, right? But I do have the choice to not. You know, I don't miss certain things, whether when it comes to my kids starting school, you know, I can be there for the first day of school. Little things like that mean the world to us as a family.
Yes.
That are priceless. Money isn't everything, because I feel like just simple as words that don't cost you anything can really amp somebody up and take them a long way. And they could go and make millions with it.
1000%.
You know, you can make somebody millions for free. You know, just by hooking them up with a compliment.
With words.
With words. That's what I'm saying. You're going to lift them up, bring them up, and they're going to go off and walk out with their head held high and their chest out, ready to conquer the world. And then when they do that, imagine how many people we can have with that same mentality if everybody just has that same
helping
same
each other
flow.
out.
Yeah. You got to have a vision, man. You got to have a vision to know where you're going. I had a vision. I've always had a vision. So got to chase it. One of my employees really getting me mad, you know, and I think I'm going to let him go for whatever reason. And, you know, he actually opened up my eyes. Like, sometimes you have to be the bigger person and lead by example. You know, you're the leader. So you have to reach out to him.
How do you do that? How do you get him from just wanting to go through the motions to hopping on board with your vision?
You got to find what motivates them. Yeah.
Hi, my name's Jared Garay, and welcome to the Humans in Harmony podcast, where we learn about the interconnectedness of the mind, body, and spirit. And today, we're joined by one of my best friends, and he's an incredible father, incredible salesman, and one of the best hustlers I know. And today, we're going to talk about his journey of becoming the best salesman at his car dealership, and then leaving that all behind to start his own business. And we're going to talk about some of the benefits and challenges that he's faced along his journey. And if you get some value from this podcast, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. Help us out with the algorithm. But without further ado, Richie, Valenzuela. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm glad to finally be here. Let me just say that, because I've been waiting. Man, when are you going to call me on the podcast, bro? But you give me too much credit. Let me say that. You give me too much credit. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much.
No, it's an honor to have you, bro.
Thank you.
So let's jump right into it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
You were one of the top salesmen at your dealership, making nearly $200K a year, and you decided to leave that all behind to start your own business. Why?
There's a lot that goes into that, man. And it's like the number one question, right? Everybody's been asking me, like, man, are you at the dealership? Why aren't you at the dealership? You know, I thought you were the man. But it took a lot out of me. It took a lot out of me because it was something fun to do, you know, and that's really where the money came, was whenever it was fun to me. You know, it was fun to me to help people, so it wasn't like a job, you know, like other people might see it. And being in sales, that's what it's all about. You got to have fun with what you're doing and make a connection with whoever it is that you're working with, you know. So it's not necessarily about going through the motions and, you know, a job, and it's more about the personal relationship. So that was the hardest part about leaving the whole situation of being in the sales gig, because to be quite honest with you, man, I never planned on being a salesman. Like,
wow. Really?
We went to college together. We went to college for business. We had some classes together, and graduated college and really didn't know what the heck I was going to do. Ended up in the sales gig, but it worked out for me. You know, I'm a real spiritual guy, so I believe it was probably God's plan, right? So with that being said, I went along with it, and it really worked out well, but it really took like a dramatic shift and change, whether it was something out of my control or even something like what had happened with the dealership being bought out. The dealership being bought out was, in my eyes now, maybe that shift and change that needed to happen in order to push me away. Because yeah, man, I mean, in my early 20s, making over $100,000, pushing $200,000, it's hard to leave, man. You really don't want to leave. You're kind of set up in a good position, you know, to where you can have a stay-at-home wife. You can have your kids, going on vacations and enjoying the little things in life, to where that can be a hard thing to do. But by the end of the day, it did take up a lot of time, to be in that position. You can be making a lot of money, but at the same time, you're dedicating a lot of your time to that. So by the end of the day, you might have all this money in the bank, but it's because you don't have time to spend it if you're out working, right? So kind of just realizing, the money is good, but there has to be a balance of better. And,
money isn't everything.
Money is not everything. No, and I've learned that. Wow. I learned that, man. And because it's like the more money you make, you realize how fast it can go, honestly. So you kind of realize, like, man, I've made more and more money and I'm still not really fulfilled. I'm not satisfied, and don't get me wrong, like money does help, but I guess having a family, having kids, and wanting more always, and I always told myself, man, I really don't want to be a lifer at the dealership. The money's cool and all, but I don't want to be a lifer here. Like, it's really not my calling. And although I really enjoyed helping all these people daily, dude, you meet people daily, somebody new, and you make their day, like you make their year. Like, they've been dreaming of buying a car. Can they buy this car? And you make it happen. It really feels good. And that's where the gratitude comes from, of helping people. But, by the end of the day, I knew I wanted to be my own businessman. I wanted to be somebody that somebody would look up to and have the means to be able to help as many people out as I possibly can. Wow. Yeah. So that's really what pushed me to that. And I had to make that decision with the help of some outside influences happening, such as the dealership being bought out. Gotcha. So that kind of helped me decide to, like, all right, this is my time. If that wouldn't have happened, man, I might still be over there selling cars, like just thinking about the idea. Should I leave? When do I leave? I can't get stuck here.
And that was the catalyst. You're like, okay, now's my time.
Thank God it happened, man. Really. Because if it didn't, then I'd probably still be stuck there.
So you wouldn't go back right now? If you could go back and get your $200K job back, would you do it?
No.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, though, because I really have to. It's a question that you ask. You can go back to working for somebody else, going back to, at the dealership, dude. The dealership has a name for itself, right? It has its own name. So it has commercials, it has advertisement, it has millions of dollars of inventory. They pay the overhead, the lights, the phones, all that good stuff, to where you really don't have to worry other than just go and make it happen. Now that I've shifted into putting myself in this position where I own the business, then I really have to make it happen. Now that all that's on me, the overhead and the stresses and the worries and keeping the business flowing, all that, and the employees, all that is on me now.
There's no safety net.
No, exactly. There's no safety net. So I guess if I really want to go, I feel like there's just no going back. It's not if I want to go back. There's just no going back. If somebody wanted to go back, that's what you're going back for, is for that safety net. And I don't picture me ever wanting to go back, man.
You don't need that safety net.
I don't need that safety net.
You don't want it.
I don't want it. Yeah.
Why not?
Because I feel like all the people that I've looked up to, or maybe follow and aspire to be like, they just throw away the safety net, man. They don't worry about it. They don't worry about the safety net, and because somehow, somewhere or another, they figure that safety net out. Like, so let's say you're owning the business and you just don't have that safety net, then you kind of create one. You kind of create like, and whether it's something from within, your safety net might be something within. For me, my safety net is within. It's my safety net is the grit. It's like, I know I have it in me. I've done it before. So it's like, if I really want something and if I want to get it done, then it's up to me to go and get it done.
Dig deep.
Exactly. But some people, and it's not really knocking anybody, but I feel like some people just, they don't have it, and that's why we're all placed in certain areas of our life. But with that being said, if you have it, then I feel like you should use it. 100%. If you have that in you, that I guess people nowadays call it that dog in you. You got that dog in you, then use it. You know, if you know that you can push through some stuff, because, you know, don't get me wrong, it gets hard. That's why everybody, if it were easy, everybody have the business, right?
Right.
But it gets hard. There's a lot of times where you might doubt yourself, where you might question yourself, where you're wondering how you're going to make things happen. Mm-hmm. But if you know you got that dog in you, then you just get through it.
That's your safety net.
That's your safety net. Yeah, that's the only safety net I live by, you know, and because I figure why you can't put your life and your safety net in somebody else's hands. You really can't. And just because, I mean, look at what we've experienced with the economy, you know, and that's kind of like where I was at in the dealership. You know, I was making 150 plus at the dealership. And there comes a time where I was comfortable with that, and that was my safety net, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I'm making this good money. And then out of nowhere, that starts to change. They're selling the dealership. The current owner isn't buying inventory. It's affecting us at the dealership.
It's out of your hands.
It's out of our hands. The economy, the rates, you know, certain buyers who were able to get approved, I can't get them approved. So things like that, where I realized, man, I left my safety net in the economy's hands, in my boss's hands, in the owner's hands. And he's selling out, and it doesn't matter what happens to us, right? Yeah, it was like a really big eye opener.
Wow,
that's and such especially a great point. When you put yourself in this position where, you know, I might have just purchased a brand new home at 23 years old. I just purchased a couple of vehicles, you know, one for me and one for Chantel. So with that being said, you know, and I'm having more kids.
Yeah,
I'm having more kids. So I really put myself in this position where I've got to make it.
You got to make it.
I've got to make it.
You need that steady income.
Exactly.
You can't rely on other people to not be there for you.
Exactly. And then the economy on top of that. So, you know, I've learned to just kind of don't let my safety net be relying on other people. You know, I have to have my own safety net.
That's so powerful, because I think so many people are striving to build up and get that safety net. That's what they want, that high paying job so they can sit back and be comfortable. Yeah. But it's an illusion. Like you said, I experienced the same thing. I went and got my high paying job out of college out in Dallas, and it was great for 3 years. I mean, 1.5, and then I got a crappy boss. I got shifted over, and guess what? I ended up getting laid off.
Wow.
So much for job security, right?
Right.
Now, everything worked out. Everything happens for a reason, but it shows you how safe that job security really is. And like you said, it was an eye-opener for me. And what do you say to those guys that are out there with their safety net, but they got that idea in the back of their head thinking, man, I need to start a business. And it's been back there, and they're too scared to leave their safety net.
You know, I say do it. You got to do it, because when you really think about it and look at it, what is truly the worst that can happen? You're in the same spot you're in right now, you know? So like, your worst case scenario is where you're at right now. So best case scenario, things are getting better for you, right?
Yeah.
So I think we just look at too much at the current safety net, and we're content with that. But if you let go of that safety net will be right back there if you take off and come right back. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Me, I don't want to use that safety net no more. But for somebody who's thinking about doing it and you want to give it a shot, that jump and that leap of faith that you're probably going to take, it can probably take you milestones and much further than anywhere you could ever imagine.
No doubt.
Now, and even if you don't, I think you've even told me this, what do? We fail forward, right? So even if that business does fail, there's always something that you can take out of it. And that's the way I look at things. You know, I look at things always half full, not half empty. So even when things go bad, it's like, man, what can I take out of this situation? You know, what can I learn from this experience for the next one? Because it's only going to come back better, right?
Yeah.
So I've heard this the other day. I think they say ready, aim, fire. And now I want to live by ready, fire, aim.
Okay.
Right? Because when I heard that, at first it made no sense to me. I was like, ready, fire, aim. That doesn't make no sense. But in this business world, you just got to kind of go for it. You're gonna have a first time at everything. You're gonna fail and you're gonna learn.
Well, that makes sense because obviously you don't know everything.
Obviously.
And you got to just take the first step and then figure it out as you go.
Exactly. Now that's the fire point. You're ready, fire, and then if that fire doesn't hit the target, now you know where to aim, how to aim.
Nice.
And how to
adjust.
Go about exactly. So it's ready, fire, aim, and now you're aiming in the right direction. But you're never going to know where to aim or how to aim if you never just fire. So that thought in your head, just go ahead and fire it off.
Pull the trigger.
Pull the trigger, baby. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, I like that.
Let's go. Oh, man. That's awesome. Got it. We already got a banger going off right off the bat.
I love it. Let's go. Keep it running.
Let's go into sales real quick. I mean, you were killing it.
I love sales.
You were killing it.
I love sales.
The top dog at your dealership. What I know you said earlier, make it fun. Is that the key principle, or what else is key to being a great salesman?
Just be yourself, man. Just be yourself. And I think me personally, being myself is outgoing, Richie, fun, like, you know, I might have a lot of tattoos, but that's just the way I express myself, right? So in the dealership, I was GQ, right? I'm in a suit. I'm feeling good. I'm dressed nice. I always go by, you look good, feel good, you're going to perform good. So, you know, that first impression was everything for me. But me was just having fun, was just like outgoing, man. Just being me, enjoying it, enjoying the moment, and not being worried about what everybody has to think, you know, because I started selling vehicles in 2019, right? And at that time, dude, I'm out there with my phone. I'm recording myself. I'm doing all this extra stuff to sell a vehicle. And I have all these other salesmen kind of just like staring at me, looking at me. They just live by the ups that come in. Not me, man. I'm over there on Snapchat. I'm over there on Instagram posting a video a day, if not two or three, right? You know?
Remember.
And me personally, dude, I didn't care if anybody on the other side of the camera, you know, thought it was annoying. They could keep clicking through for all I care.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, the majority of not, man. I had a lot of people who were just like, man, keep posting this stuff, you know, like whether I buy a vehicle or not, I like watching it, you know. So I always stayed on social media, man. And I had a lot of business through social media, and just my name just stayed out there. Rather, I always went by, if somebody's going to buy a car now, they're going to buy a car later, or they know somebody's going to buy a car. It's always just one of those three. So you just got to stay on top of their mind, right? And that's anything but sales. You could be selling hot dogs, you could be selling houses, you could be selling cars. I don't care what it is. You just have to be on top of their mind, because one day when they need that, you want to be the first person they think of.
For sure.
So I was just always on top of everybody's mind. Always, whether I was on their social media, whether I was talking to them. And then I just made everything real personal, man. Real personal. I'd be like, hey, Jared, you know, I know you were looking at a truck, man. This truck made me think of you. Check it out. Just kind of hit you with a little like random message, and then like just get you thinking. Before you know it, you're in there in the dealership signing papers away. Let's go, baby! You're driving off in a brand new truck. I'm the hero. Everybody's feeling good, you know. So all because I sent you a personal message. Hey, Jared, this truck made me think of you, bro. I know we haven't talked in a month or two, or I know we haven't talked in a couple of weeks, or you haven't even mentioned this, but I don't know why this truck made me think of you. And
why
then
do you
you're
think
like,
that works so well?
It's personal. It's personal. That's only, I mean, then you get to thinking, man, I really wasn't thinking of getting a truck, but look at this one. And then start looking, hey, as a matter of fact, how can we trade mine in for that one? It happens more. And you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right?
That's right.
So never take the shot. You'll never know if that was going to work. So just take a lot of shots.
That's right.
You know, it's everybody always talks about Michael Jordan and how many shots he missed and what he made, right? So it's the same concept. The more shots you take, the more you'll hit.
That's a fact.
So I just send everybody a little message.
Increasing your leads.
Yeah, increasing the leads, keeping the pipeline full. That's the biggest thing in sales. Make it personal. That's the biggest thing, man. It's personal. And like even right now in my business, you know, I feel like I play a good, strong role in my own business of keeping the business flowing. And
what do you mean by that? Flowing.
keeping us busy.
Okay.
You know, keeping us
New
busy,
jobs.
keeping jobs going, right? And the biggest part of that is sales, relationship. You know, I'm going into people's yards asking them for tens, 20 thousands of dollars. Then, you know, it can't just be like the next guy over who just came and asked for that, you know, because, you know, they're getting bids, they're getting quotes, and that's just the way it goes. So what am I going to do different to stand out? You know, and it's going to be a little bit more personal. It's like before we even get to talking about business, it's like, hey, well, how's that promotion at work going? Or how'd the close on the house go? You know, he just purchased his brand new house. Everything go good. You know, everything rolling smooth. You guys got things rolling. You got the dog over here. You know, kind of talk about little things like that. When you get a little personal with people, man, they open up to you.
And you understand the details and why they might want certain designs for their yard.
Exactly.
And then they're like, oh, wow, he designed this perfect for me.
Exactly. You never know that they have a puppy, you know, that they love and adore like their child, then you can never use that to your benefit and be like, hey, well, you know, you said you had a dog, right? Well, why not do this for the dog? Like, oh, well, Richie's thinking, you know, he's not just here to just make the paycheck. Just got to get a little personal with it, man. That's all it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How else have your sales skills that you developed as a car salesman helped your business?
You know, tremendously, bro. Like in many different ways. That's why I say, like, I feel like it was a stepping stone that I didn't know I needed.
Blessing in disguise.
100%. Because I was going into the sales gig scared, worried, never sold anything in my life. So I was like, you know, I'm just going to use this real quick to have a job, make some money. But everything that I learned in sales, the relationships, you know, from working with people like a doctor all the way down to just your average meat market person or anything like that, like it really teaches you the dynamics of working with different customers, getting through certain objections, you know, like you might even get what are called reflex objections.
What's that?
A reflex objection. When somebody tells you you're shopping for a car, you know, that you walk up on somebody and, hey, how can I help you? And, nah, I'm just looking. You know, well, I get it. You're just looking, but you're here for a reason, right? Or I got to think about it. You know, this is the price. Well, okay, we got to think about it. It's just a reflex objection. Gotcha. It's just something that just naturally comes out whenever you're in that process. Well, what is there to think about? You know, kind of got to break it down, stop them, slow it down, and see what the problem is. You know, so those reflex objections in my business, you know, it's like, well, let me sit back and think about the price or whatever the case is. And it's like, well, okay, are we close? Or is there something that we can change? Is there something that I can adjust for you? And now if I never figure that out or ask those questions, then they might just be on to the next, right? I might just lose them for good. So you just have like learning to notice reflex objections, and just filling out your clients and just keeping that personal relationship. The pipeline is big, man. Keeping a strong pipeline with possible clients. You know, even if, like I said, if you're not shopping now, you might be shopping later. So if I know you're just renting right now and you might be in the market to buy a house, I'm excited for you because when you buy a house, you're going to be probably hitting me up to do the landscape. So, you know, just keeping that relationship. Hey, Jared, how's it going shopping for a house, my man? Everything going good? Cool. Well, hey, whenever you get it, make sure you holler at me and let us know. GQ can go and do your landscape. And then just, hey, how's the house going? How's the house shopping going? You know, and just always kind of the pipeline of following up. So next thing you know, because I plan on being in business, right? Whether it's a year from now, 2 years from now, whenever it is, whenever you buy that house, I hope you're going to hit me up because I've been asking you for the last 6 months, how's it going? You know?
Yeah.
So just that pipeline, man, just keeping up with the pipeline, keeping up with clients, nurturing relationships. If I would have never learned that, or even like a CRM, you know, customer relationship profile to where I can keep up with everybody and know what they want and know what they're looking for. I can have it all in notes to where it's like, oh, hey, Jared told me that he's going to be shopping for a house in 6 months. It's 6 months later. Let's follow up with him. Let's see how he's doing. Hey, Jared, how's Rocky doing? How you guys get your new house yet? You get him his new yard? You're like, you know, as a matter of fact, bro, we're just closing on that house this week. Can you come by and give me an estimate?
Wow.
You know, just like little things like that, man. They'll just take you from here to here rather than just being that other Joe Schmo on the side of the road with your trailer, hoping that somebody's going to call you and come through.
But you got those notes that you can reference and keep it real personal because you know what they're looking for, what they're up to, and your timeline. Yeah,
exactly. If I know you're never home, you're always snowboarding or things like that, I can have an idea. It's like, hey man, I know you want to use your house for maybe a rental property, Airbnb, things of that nature. Let's go this route for your landscape idea. You don't want people to leave it up to other people to keep up with your grass or other things like that, So just things of that nature, just really getting to know your clients, getting to know what they want, who they are, their family. Yeah, just that's things that sales have really taught me from the car sales to my own business.
So that's some great advice, man. Great advice.
Thank you.
So what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced leaving your job and starting your business? The biggest unexpected challenges?
The biggest unexpected challenges that I've probably faced is finding, I guess I would say, people who are on the same page as me. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I always knew that I had my... Employee-wise?
Or client?
Not employee-wise.
Okay.
I would say more on the business side, right?
Gotcha.
On my business side. The unexpected challenges of, I would think... I guess a better way to say it is understanding that not everybody thinks the same way we do.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Not everybody has the same vision.
Yeah.
So, and it's really hard to try to get everybody on that same vision train, and when you can, that's when you really got to run with it. But it's harder than I expected.
For sure.
To get people to have the same vision and to really want to attack that.
No,
and I don't know if it's like the generation we're living in, I'm not really like, it's nothing to nobody specifically or any like type of group specifically, but I just feel like that dog in people, it's just not there no more.
Yeah.
You know what
100%.
I mean? It's not there. And whether it was COVID or what it was, it's...
These younger generations is just softer people. That's straight up.
Exactly. So basically the way to say it is, man, everybody wants a job but nobody wants to work, right? So I got everybody, man, just, man, Richie, let me know when I can help you out, when we can hop on. I want to be a part of what you have going on. And then come time of opportunity or game day and show out what you got, nobody's to be found, and keeping the same people on track and keeping a good group together has been the hardest challenges that I didn't expect. I felt like I had that leader in me, or because sometimes I question myself, like, is it me? Am I not portraying this the right way, or am I not getting through to everybody the right way? So I start to question it. Am I not the leader that I thought I was? And I just have to like kind of adjust myself in the way I lead or the way I do things.
What type of adjustments?
I guess my approach that I've taken.
Talking to employees?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Because, some people you can get through them in different ways. And it's some things that I've learned, thank God, throughout the business college. Ooh. Everybody has their own style and way of being motivated and learning and taking things in. It really takes like some adjustment, to as a leader to figure out how to lead them all individually. I can't just approach everybody the same way.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's definitely some leadership skill that you've had to develop.
Yeah.
And what are some tactics that have helped you with that?
I guess tactics that I would use, man, I do a lot of like, I guess like I look up to a lot of different people in the position that I want to be in, right?
Right.
So I don't know if you would call it a tactic, but I'm like an open book, dude. Like, I don't like to think that I know it all. I like to, really just get humble about it and see who else is in a maybe a better position than I am. Whether it's somebody on social media, somebody here in town, whatever the case is, my tactic is if they're doing it and it's working, then how can I learn something from that person and utilize it in my business?
Gotcha.
So, if I see, whether it's one of my entrepreneur friends running their business, and I maybe sit down and ask them like, hey man, when you run into this situation, how do you approach it? How are you approaching your employees about this situation? How are you doing things in this situation?
Yeah.
And
They've got the experience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm not going to ask somebody if they're not in the position I don't want to be in, right? So I'm kind of looking up to those who are already in that position, maybe who've already done something like so before, and going off of that, that's my tactic.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So also you're talking about how you've got your employees that they're different. They learn different. They respond different. How do you figure out how they receive things, and is it just trial and error, or do you have like a method that you've developed to read them better and deliver better?
You just throw them in the fire, man. You just throw them in the fire and you kind of just fill them out. Yeah, I love it, because having a business is like having like your own baby and grandbabies. It really is, it's, and because you love these guys. I love my guys to death, and then there's days where you're just like, come on, dude, come on, dude. And we all have our flaws. We all have our flaws. And that's why the dream team is where we pick up each other where we're lacking, right?
Perfect.
And I've had guys to where it's like, like I said, we throw them in the fire. And what I mean is that might just mean 10 tons of rock with a shovel and a wheelbarrow, right? Because we can't use the tractor to get to the back. It's just whatever the situation calls. So that's throwing them in the fire. And you might come to find out that little Timmy isn't as good as shoveling rock or having the right ideas of making his life easier to get that done as Big Jimmy. But little Timmy might come up with some pretty cool ideas throughout the project to make life pretty easy or things like that. So you just got to throw them in the fire and fill them out and see, kind of let them fall into place. And I guess one thing that I've learned is, I guess, just giving them a little bit more freedom. We're all grown men. So it's like a real fine line though between a little bit of freedom and a little bit of too much freedom. Because I'm running a business here, right? And so although we're all grown men, you don't want some little loose ends here and there, right? So it's a real fine line. But I've come to find that there's been times where I just let these guys do their thing. If I even take off from the job site and just let them have at it,
figure it out.
Yeah, they come together and they learn some more stuff together rather than me being there over their shoulder, just
bossing them around.
Yeah. If I'm there over their shoulder, or even just where like I just feel like it's just like maybe a little more uptight. They're not as loose. They might be worried about what I might say about that, because I am a little nitpicky. I look at things and I'll have them redo things of that nature. But for the most part, they do good. But if I take off and I just come back, man, sometimes they surprise me.
Really?
More times than not, yeah. I'll come back and maybe my expectations aren't high enough, right? But they come and they show out. But sometimes it takes me giving them that leeway,
that freedom, to do it themselves, figure out their best way to do it. Yeah,
and it's scary doing that. It's scary doing that because giving them,
give away some control, some power, like
dude, trust. They've got your tools and truck and trailer and your name of the business and the client's yard. Yeah, so it takes a lot of trust, and it's a little scary. But my uncle, I call my uncle. He's always been in my life. He runs a rock wall company. And I'll ask him questions, and I actually, the time came up where I told him, man, one of my employees really, really getting me mad, and I think I'm going to let him go for whatever reason. And, he actually opened up my eyes. Like, sometimes you have to be the bigger person and lead by example. You're the leader. So you have to reach out to him and let him know why he hasn't reached out to you, because, it's a situation where the guy should be at work and he's nowhere to be found. And in my eyes, he's already off the team, right?
Right.
My uncle's eyes, I should reach out to him and get him back to work, and then go from there.
Did you try that?
And I did. And, long story short, the guy's not with us, but I saw where he was coming from. And at first I was just so hot about it, and I wanted to approach it my way and just let the guy be, and off he went. But he was right. I had to lead by the example and kind of do things a little bit different than I would have planned on doing. So kind of taking different approaches than I would normally take is like an adjustment,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Powerful. It's hard because he's not there at the job, and you're like, hey, we got to get this done. Yeah. Where the hell are you?
Exactly.
You're out of here. But you got to calm down, take a step back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, maybe something came up.
Exactly.
Maybe something came up, and
it's so like, it's a fine line, Jared. It's a fine line. That's why I've learned a lot about myself just within this past year of how much patience I could even grow because of that. Because yeah, you might just want to be quick to think and react, but you also have to think in the long run. Is this the best decision? There's so much to think about. And even whenever I was in the sales, my manager and his decisions, I always wondered, like, man, like, what's going on in his head? Like, but until you're put into that position, then you're thinking about more than just the now.
Right.
And you really have to sit and assess and really just lead by example, man. That's the only thing.
That's a great point. You're juggling a whole lot of things, not just the current task. You're forecasting, managing, overhead, all this different stuff. How do you manage all that stuff?
I'm still learning that part. I'm still learning, man.
Have you developed any strategies so far to just not get overwhelmed and too stressed out?
Yeah, well, I guess my what I'm learning to do now is calendarize more.
Okay.
Everything's in a calendar. I have to put everything down in a calendar. Has to be scheduled. Everything has to be scheduled, because right now I'm to a point where there's just not enough time in the day.
Uh-huh.
There's not enough time in the days. I've run out of time, and to minimize my stress, I really have to take a day, take some time to decompress. And for me, every Sunday is no work for sure. But on top of that, if I ever just feel like we're just grinding it out, you have to really catch yourself and decompress, because you're not doing yourself any favor or myself, I would say, for my business or for the people around me and for my own health. Whenever I'm just trying to keep it going as much as I want to, sometimes I really have to just pump the brakes. So like, I guess just pumping the brakes, man, and rather finding some time to yourself, whether it's just a day of chill or of golf or, the hot springs, just something relaxing to just not think about anything.
Bring you back.
Yeah, bring it for sure, because, man, the weeks can go by super fast. And yes, like you say, I just have so much going on, and a lot of times you really have to just let it go, because it's going to be there no matter what.
Uh-huh.
The problems, the work, the tasks that you have to get to, they're all going to be there no matter what.
No doubt.
No matter, as much as I've tried to catch up with everything and even slow my mind down, the best way to slow it down is really just to let it go. Yeah, that's the only way I can slow mine down. Yeah,
let it go.
Yeah,
because we can only control what we can control. If it's out of our hands, there's no point in stressing on it.
Exactly. And that's, I even tell my guys, we all have problems. We all have daily problems, real life problems. It doesn't do us any better to bring them to work. So when we show up together, you really have to let a lot of stuff go. So whether it's letting work go to decompress, or even when you're getting to work, you got to let the outside factors go so that you can get work done.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Focusing on one task at a time. You can't, if your head's somewhere else, you're not going to be there getting the best work done.
That's it right there, is really just focusing on one task at a time. So if there's a strategy that I've come up with, or anything that's helped me, is the calendarizing to realize one task at a time. Chantal,
this is my time for this. Yeah. I got to dedicate it.
Yep. Chantal will tell me just one thing at a time. One thing at a time, because it gets to so much to where you have to just handle it one thing at a time. Like, and if not, like, that's just, it won't be any efficient way.
Overwhelming.
Yeah. 100%. Just one thing at a time, one step at a time, one job at a time, one book at a time, one page at a time. For me, dude, it takes me forever to read a book. Forever. So like I have to really tell myself one page at a time, like, and really take everything in. And it's like I feel like it's my sign of God showing me to just slow down. Slow everything down, because I'm in a fast pace. So I need something to just like slow it down, one thing at a time.
One thing at a time.
Yeah, because I am the man who I am guilty of trying to overextend myself.
Hey, you're the master hustler, bro. You're the master hustler.
You're not doing yourself any great when you just you tell everybody you can be there and then you can't be there. So like I try to be the master hustler, and then to that peak of extent before I make a bad name, before I'm not there whenever I say I can be there. Dude, I was 15 minutes late today. I feel horrible. It's like things of that nature. I'm still working on being on time, because I'm at that point where just not enough time of the day and I overextend myself. And after this, I've got a meeting, 5-6 o'clock when we're done here.
No doubt. No, I got you, man. Same here. Every single day is just 100 miles per hour. Wake up, grind, go to sleep. Wake up, grind, go to sleep. And it's like, man. But if we don't focus on one thing at a time, you get distracted and you're pulling back and forth, and then it's chaos, and then you're stressed out. And you're like, I don't have time to do anything.
Yep. Do you ever, with that being said, do you ever like think of how you had all the time in the world, like just a few years ago? Like, man. I don't know about you, but I was twiddling my thumbs, dude. Like sitting around, like, what could I do today? What am I gonna do today? Let's see what Jared's doing. Let's go hang out with Jared or something.
The college days.
Yeah, bro. And that's why it's like I've gotten to this point where it's like not enough time in the day. It's like, wow, like I was doing nothing with my time back in the day, dude.
But hey, here's where this is how I look at it. Right now, yes, we are grinding and we have no time. But why are we doing this? We're sacrificing right now for the better good of our future. That way we can get that time back later on. Yep. And right now we've got the energy. We might as well take advantage of it and maximize our opportunity while we can.
Amen.
And create that time that we used to have. Because to me, that's one of the greatest luxuries on earth, having that time.
Yeah, dude. Working now for the time later, that's 100% right. That's exactly why we're doing it, why I'm doing it. And it's really just to set myself up in the right position. I always feel like I'm so behind. I always feel like, man, I should be right here. But you know what they say, man, comparison is the thief of joy.
That's right.
So don't compare yourself to others, what you see on social media, all that stuff.
It's hard.
It's super hard in today's world.
Damn,
and I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. Don't get me wrong. Like, dude, I watch other people's stuff, and you just have to catch yourself, because to me, I feel like it's a human nature thing, right? You just have to catch yourself when you do feel like, man, like I wish I was in that position. Don't necessarily compare yourself to them. I use it as when I catch that moment, I'm like, all right, that's my motivation. Like, how can I get there?
100%.
If he can do it, I can do it.
That's right.
And then if you do catch yourself comparing, then all right, try to do some research a little bit and see how long it took that person to get there. See if their Instagram takes you back far enough on the work they've been doing, and then you'll be able to see, all right, but if you just look at that one little clip and compare yourself to that moment, then it could really just kill your vibe, kill your self-esteem, your ego, and that's really all you have, man. And that's what's going to keep you going. So you start comparing yourself to the other guy that you don't even know, then you're shot. You know.
That's such a great point that you brought up. You have to catch yourself, because if you don't catch yourself, you just get sucked down that hole. Yeah. But that's the first step. You catch yourself and you're self-aware of your emotions and why am I reacting to this? And then you can apply it to how can I use this for my benefit? Yeah. But if you don't catch yourself, you're going to fall down that hole.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like I said, because we're all guilty of it. Oh, yeah. Like I said, it's a human nature thing. So you're going to have certain feelings, certain emotions, or certain thoughts or views, but you have to really like snap. And then when you get to that point where you can catch moments like that, then that's when you start bettering yourself. You start bettering your mind and the way you think and the way you have perspective about yourself. because if you're comparing yourself to somebody else that you don't even know, for what? But if you really just start looking at yourself like, all right, am I better than who I was yesterday? Do I have some progress going on?
Powerful.
And sometimes it even takes other people telling you. A lot of with me, that's probably like my case. I'm always like, man, I really feel like I'm in the same spot when I started this business. And it's like, man, Richie, do you see all the accounts you guys have? Do you see, the trailers that you've got, the truck? And like, it really sometimes takes some people to open up your eyes. You're like, oh, you're right. And you might get overwhelmed with your problems or the bills you have. And you really have to think about, wait, I'm blessed for these problems and the bills I have. And you have to think about the cards flipped the other way. I might be feeling so stressed and overwhelmed because of the business, but that means I have business. That means business is flowing. I might be stressed and overwhelmed because of some bills or overhead, but that only means that I'm blessed, that I have a house, I have cars, I have this and that. So you have to really look at things in a different perspective to notice what you have, or how far you've come. It's like, oh, snap. Like, I'm only stressed because things are good.
Yeah.
And you can just choose your hard. Your hard can either be hard, broke, or your hard can be hard because you've been busting ass and you're making money, and now you put yourself in a position where you got house payments and car payments and even a boat if you want, but you could choose your hard, and that's the hard I'm looking for. That's the hard I'll take. I'll take that any day, other than the heart of stressing of living on the side of the road.
For sure. For sure, man. And I'm so proud of you, and I look up to you for that, man. Just
thanks, bro.
You took the jump and you committed and you bet on yourself. And that's where I'm like, my dog.
Thank you, man.
And another thing, you talk about the growth. It's hard to see your own growth. And I see that in everything, like even fitness. And that's because we're having all these changes, but it's happening gradually. You're having these gradual changes. So you can't really tell when you're looking at yourself because it's happening so slowly, but you get that outside perspective, and then they see what you've come through or what you've developed over a 3-6 month time period. And that just gives you a whole new perspective of how much growth you really have experienced.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the biggest thing is you have to surround yourself with the right people. You might, if you don't see it yourself, and you're depending on others to at least see it for you, to help you, give a little boost. What really helped me is having the right people around me. Because if I'm that type of person who it's hard to see my own growth, and then also on top of that, if I don't have the right people around me, those guys they're not going to look and tell me, hey, man, you're looking good, man. Or, hey, congrats on the business. Hey, if the wrong people are around me and aren't really out for my own good,
it really messes with your mind.
Yeah. They're going to keep you stuck where you've been. But if you're around the right people and you're selective about the type of people you're going to keep around, they're going to be the guys like, hey, man, like, you're looking good, bro. Keep it up in the gym. Hey, bro, where were you at yesterday? I need to see you in the gym. You've been looking good. Hey, man, I see the business. Hey, if you need any more business, I think I could get you some. Like, things like that. Like, hey, Richie, I see you hustling, bro. I see you grinding. When I was selling cars, dang, bro, you're always selling cars, man. It's like, I see you. Those little messages are the hype that we need around us. Again, they'll take you a long way, man. I feel like people are so greedy with their kindness and generosity of words, because I feel like just simple as words that don't cost you anything can really amp somebody up and take them a long way, and they could go and make millions with it.
1000%.
You can make somebody millions for free, just by hooking them up with a compliment
with words.
That's what I'm saying. You're gonna lift them up, bring them up, and they're gonna go off and walk out with their head held high and their chest out, ready to conquer the world. And then when they do that, imagine how many people we can have with that same mentality if everybody just has that same
helping each other
flow.
out. Giving words of support.
Exactly. If everybody just walks around supporting each other and feeling good, feeling energized, giving off that same energy that costs them 0 pennies, then why not?
For sure.
That's what's gonna change, I think, the world. But
for sure.
it takes the people to have that mentality. And right now it's just like the hardest part is getting people to support each other. I don't know why it's so hard for people to support each other, because I know a lot of entrepreneur friends who their biggest problem is having the support from the people who are closest to them.
Wow.
It's weird. It's crazy.
Well, like you say, lead by example.
Yeah.
And reciprocity. You get back what you give.
Amen.
All right. So we talked about some of the challenges you faced of starting your business. What are some of the bright sides that you've encountered of leaving your safety net, leaving your job, and starting your own company? What's some of the bright side?
Just having that freedom, freedom that we always talk about, of whenever you want to be your own boss. Granted, we do have long weeks. I am on average working, 50, 60 hours a week. But, I do have choice to not work. I'm only working that because I do want to grow this business, right?
Right.
But I do have the choice to not. And that's why it's really dangerous for some people, because if they have the choice not to and you just never work, then you're never going to make no money and get nowhere. But on the other side of that, I don't miss certain things, whether when it comes to my kids starting school, I can be there for the first day of school. Little things like that mean the world to us as a family.
Yes.
That are priceless.
Priceless. So
that right there is just one of the best things that really are one of the biggest benefits of enjoying. And then just, I guess, watching it all grow, man. Watching something that we start to just grow into what it is now and just keep growing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really awesome to just watch. And like I said, you have to really just sit back and look, though. Sometimes you have to take that moment, because you get real caught up in all the work and all the busyness and day-to-day stuff. But you have to take some time to sit back and look. It's like, man, like, look at this. Like, and that's the cool part. I guess that's why I said it's like your baby. You have to really take care of it and nurture it and do the right things for it in order for it to grow. Yeah, so that's been really fun. That's been the fun part.
There are some beautiful parallels there between that and your actual family life. And like you said, the main benefit is you get to be there for those important parts of your family. That is so important, because for me, man, family's the most important thing. Right after God, it's family.
Right.
And so many of us get stuck in these jobs where family becomes second with a regular job.
Hence the dealership. Selling cars. So that's where you go back to why the money isn't everything.
Money isn't everything.
Yeah, you could be making really good money, but I felt like family was coming second. And it takes a moment where you self-reflect and see that, like, oh man, like, hold on, this is really against my core values. My core values is family and that time that we don't get back. That's the one thing on this place of earth that we just can't get back, is time. So why give it all up for a dollar amount? So I had to find a flip and a median to okay, I do like dollar amounts, but I also do like time with my family, right?
Yeah.
So how are we gonna make both?
How are we gonna make both?
Yeah. How are we gonna make both? So,
let's go.
And there's always a way. There's a will, there's a way. Some people will they'll stay stuck in the rat race. And for me, it's, if you tell me that there's a way out and at least point me in the right direction, then here's my safety net. I'm going to go and check it out.
Let's go, man.
Yeah, man. Adios to all the boys on the ship. I had to tell everybody later at the dealership, let them know, hey, man, I'm out. I'm jumping ship. Whether, you're with or without. Because I had people at the dealership, man, that was another thing. I had people there who were there because of me. I had a really good friend of mine, Josh, who went and started selling cars because he saw what I was doing, and how it worked out for me. He and I have a really, similar personalities, where I knew he was going to do good there. So never really vouched for anybody to go and sell vehicles either, because I know how hard it can be. I know how fast somebody can get weeded out. But for him, I vouched for him for some reason. Like, yeah, come on and do it. I think you're going to do good. And he did good. But it was one of those things that after I just got him on, I was like, all right, my boy, I'm out, you know? And then, and it's like how safe, or how it's like if I just brought you into war and then I'm going back home.
Yeah.
I told you, hey man, get over here. We need you. And then you get over there and then I'm like, I'm out. Thanks for showing up, you know? So I kind of felt bad for him, you know? I felt bad for my boys out there at the ship, but that's why I had to just make my own choice of, here's the safety net, man. And I got to go because I feel like this ship's about to go down, you know. And the dealer, there's nothing against the dealership. Dealership's great. I'm sure they're making money, but from the balance of work life and what needed to come in overhead, it wasn't going to cut it anymore. So
in the future that you have ahead of you.
Oh yeah, man. It's like, you just got to have a vision, man. You got to have a vision to know where you're going. Without a vision, you're going to have nowhere to go.
Just floating in the wind.
Yeah, exactly. So I had a vision. I've always had a vision. So got to chase it, you know, and, you know,
Amen.
What is it? Man without a vision shall perish, you know? So have a vision, because without a vision, you're just going to be rolling around with emotions in the rat race.
Yeah. So many people are stuck there.
Feel bad for them.
Yeah, I do too.
I do, man. I really do.
I do too.
But you know, it's crazy to think about, Jared, because sadly this world needs them to go around.
No, that's a fact.
You know, like we all, like I say, we all just play our life or our role in this life because that's just the way it has to be. So, but I feel like my calling is the boss. You know, one of the bosses of whatever it is. And if your calling is to be the employee, then you be the employee. And I'm okay with that, obviously.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's not. But that's what, if this is about me, then I'm not called to be the employee. You know, and that's why I've never knocked anybody for not having the same mentality as me. I just say it's just something on my task to figure you out. You know, are you with me as a partner, or maybe are you an employee, or are you opposed to my core values and what we're doing? You know, you have to figure that out in somebody to figure out where they go in your sphere. You know, are you going to keep them around, or are they just somebody who's around you to maybe suck off any energy or any of your resources, or are they here for your benefit? Or are they just here to go through the motions? Because, you know, being a boss and having employees, you get those type of people who just come through for the motions.
100%.
You know, and that goes along with trying to get people on the same level with the same vision on where you're going.
How do you do that? How do you get them from just wanting to go through the motions to hopping on board with your vision?
You got to find what motivates them. Yeah, you got to find what motivates them. Some people it's time. Some people it's money. Some people it's recognition. You know, so as long as you just hype them up and let them know, man, you're really doing good and I really see a bright future for you, that might be all they need. Or it might be somebody is like, hey, man, I see a bonus coming your way if you keep tearing it up. That might be their motive. They might have a family to feed. Yeah. You know? You know, it might be a promotion, you know. A lot of times a promotion really isn't about your pay raise. It's about a title.
Recognition.
Exactly. So you give somebody a title, it's like, hey, man, like you're now in charge of this right here. Anytime we're doing this type on the job, people listen to you. Because you know what we're doing here.
They take some pride in that.
And they take pride in that, yeah. So like really, that's how you figure somebody out, and that's how you get them on board. You know, it's like getting somebody on board. Like right now, they're kind of just like waiting at the train station, but you really want them on board and on the train where we're going to the final destination. You don't want them just hanging out at the train station waiting for the ticket, because that's the guys. Those are the guys who show up to work and just wait for Friday, payday. Yeah. You know, you want the guys who are hopping on the train throughout the week and you know, lugging that thing on through. And to get them on board, sometimes it takes a little figuring out, whether it's in their mind or what. Sometimes some people just want extra time or being on their schedule. So it's like you got to find a balance. It's like, all right, my guys like to go in extra early because they like to be out early. Then you have that one crew, you try to go in extra early, and then nobody's up. You know, so it's like finding that synchrony, man. It's like if I'm a big sports guy, so like it's like having a team with chemistry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A team with chemistry will go a long way because you guys just like it's like you dance together.
That does better than 5 superstars.
Oh, 100%.
Is a team with chemistry will outplay them.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, I'm even realizing that through business. You know, I've been up to, you know, it'll be a year in November for my business, and between now and then, I've had anywhere from 1 employee to about 6 employees at once. And right now we're in that median. It's like finding the right balance, because sometimes me and 2 other guys can be way more efficient than me and 5 other guys, you know. Gotcha. So kind of finding that balance to where, like you said, we have that synchrony and chemistry, and it's like we dance together on out on the job sites, then that
get things done.
Oh yeah. Rather than, you know, things breaking here and wondering what he's doing over there and trying to keep things in line here and coach them here. It's like it just doesn't do any good. For sure. So having that right balance will really go a long way.
No doubt, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said earlier, bro, you're a huge inspiration for me. And just seeing you jump out there, take initiative, I'm like, whew. At the end of the day, you're going to be learning and you're going to be way more developed. And whatever challenges you're going to be facing ahead of time, you're going to be more prepared for that because of what you've put yourself through now. And, man, you've got a bright future ahead of you. I can't wait to see it.
Thanks, bro. Man, I only just try to keep pushing forward, man. Like I said, 1 step at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 job at a time, and by the grace of God, it's just been paying off, you know.
For sure, man.
Yep.
If you got some value from this podcast, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. Help us out. Well, we got a few more closing questions, and we're gonna wrap this thing up. Top 3 favorite books.
Ooh. Like I said, Jared, top 3, it's hard for me to read a book as it is, okay? And that's not because I don't like to read. It's because it's hard for me to slow things down. So my top 3 books are probably one of the main books that I've ever read. There's a book by, I'm bad with authors. You'll probably know the author before I do, but How to Win and Influence Friends. That's a really good one.
Carnegie?
Yes, I believe so.
Something Carnegie.
Yeah. Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie, yeah. Yes. How to Win and Influence Friends. Think and Grow Rich, of course. Everybody loves Think and Grow Rich. If you haven't read Think and Grow Rich, read Think and Grow Rich. And there's this really simple book, man, that I read in high school. Super simple. My coach had me read it. It's called The Energy Bus.
Energy Bus.
Yeah, The Energy Bus.
Okay.
It's like one of the easiest reads I've ever read, but that book right there, dude, will really, whenever I tell you about, you know, picking who you have around you, I feel like that's made the main differences in my life to put me where I am today.
For sure.
And the Energy Bus really explains that in the most dumbed down way you can figure it out of how to live life and keep people around you. So the Energy Bus is a really good book. Like I said, if I was good with authors, I'm bad with people's names in public, much less authors' names. So I don't know the authors' names to those books.
Yeah, no worries. I'm sure people can find them. So what are you working on nowadays? You got any exciting projects coming up? Yeah,
man. Dude, the projects are getting bigger and bigger. That's the exciting part. Yeah, GQ is growing. You know, we started with basic, simple cleanup jobs, and now we are up to, you know, outdoor patio areas, you know, outdoor living areas. You know, we're doing jobs for, you know, local business owners here in town, you know, whether it's at their business or currently at their residence. We also have another project going up in Sonoma right now that we just started, and we're partnering up with another good friend of mine, Andrew, and his business. They run a Bobcat. So, dude, without people like him in my circle, I wouldn't be able to grow as fast. You know, having the right people in your circle, dude, will really, really make the difference. They've helped us grow because I always felt like and took in pride, and it's not about who or what you know, but who you know, right?
100%.
So, you know, whenever jobs come up or potential jobs come up, I man, we can do it. We can get it done. And then I give a call to any of my guys like Andrew, who can come right in and rock that job out and make GQ look like a star. So, you know, we have a lot of big jobs coming up because of the partnerships,
the networking, the connections.
Exactly, yeah. And then I'm working on also trying to get us in on the Allsups going up here in town.
Ooh.
You know, contracting with larger contractors who will maybe keep us in on working on all the local gas stations that are being built.
That would be huge.
Yeah, man, super exciting.
Let's go.
Stuff going on. So we're super busy. We're staying busy, and there's just a lot to come, man. We're trying to grow, and we're buying trailers. We're wrapping them things. So keep an eye out for GQ out in the streets.
I was just about to ask, how can people find you?
Yeah, on Instagram, man. I think we're under GQ Landscaping. GQ Landscaping _. Look us up, and if not, you're gonna see us out in the streets and all these new neighborhoods. You know, it's pretty cool. You know, we start one house, and we're in the neighbor's house the next. It's like we just can't get out of there. So, and it's really cool to when people come up to us and they mention things like that. It's like, hey, we've seen your trailer out here a lot. You know, we've seen you guys out here a lot, your trucks and this and that. To where we know like we're making our footprint. You know.
Heck yeah,
it's fun.
Heck yeah. You have a favorite quote?
Oh.
I know you mentioned a few already, but if there's one that sticks out as a favorite.
I do have a favorite quote.
What you got?
And it's not like a favorite quote, like a motivational quote, right? It's a quote that I've used at the job sites that I don't know why I use it, but it just comes from Wolf of Wall Street, and he says, "If money isn't everything, then go work at fucking McDonald's." So I don't know why I like that quote, but if money isn't everything, go work at McDonald's.
That's great.
I don't know.
That's great.
Wolf of Wall Street, baby.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, last question. If you could go back and give 18-year-old Richie some advice, what would you say?
Oh, I've been asked this before, and I'm keeping the same answer. This answer will not change. If I can give 18-year-old Richie some advice, it would be not to be so stubborn. You know, we all, at that age, I feel like it's probably a male thing, all of us, but we think we know everything. You know, we think we got it all figured out and in the bag. If I would have been more open as I am now, it would have given me that much more of the head start.
For sure.
You know, so I think just let go of the stubbornness and humble down a little bit.
That beginner's mindset.
Yeah.
You can always learn.
Yeah, man. You really have to dumb it down to start going. And I felt a lot of times you feel like you're already up here, right? And you really just gotta come down before you can go up.
Awesome. Yeah. Man. Richie, it was a pleasure,
Thank
brother.
you, bro.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.